Hello and welcome back. Since my last video that I uploaded regarding the energy on the 23rd of September 2023, I have received such an incredible amount of feedback, but also questions. So I'm going to start off. The number one question that has come through from so many people is, what does soul fragments mean? And how is it associated with every person right now? And what are the signs? How can we call our soul fragments back? So that is going to be the first thing I'm going to dive into. The second thing is, how do we know that we are living on the 5D consciousness? So this is something very interesting that I find a lot of people don't have the awareness or the educational knowledge of, but they are very connected to that concept, or they at least are very interested and have a lot of quite intrigued by the 5D consciousness. And then the next question that I got quite a lot of was the timeline shift, the timeline jump, and the complete and utter craziness of the energy and the emotions that happened on the weekend of the 23rd and 24th of September. So before we get started, I just would like to make a quick announcement. I am so grateful for all of you who have watched my last video. As you can tell, that was my first video for this YouTube channel, and this is going to be my second video. I have had so many people joining my group, my private free collective consciousness group on Facebook. I've also had so many people just reach out and say thank you for sharing that information and how much they resonated with it. So I just wanted to take a moment to really express my gratitude and blessings to all of you. And I'm very new to the realm of technology. I don't know much about it. I don't, it's honestly not, it's not a joy for me, technology, to learn all the ins and outs of the way that it works. So to have so many people already subscribing to my YouTube channel has just blown my mind. So thank you so much. All right, let's get into it. The first thing that so many wanted to know was, what is soul fragments? What's a soul fragment, and how do you call them back, and how do you know that your soul fragments are merging? I do realize that the video that I shared didn't really go into too much detail on each aspect of things. I do want to also acknowledge that that last video, I had some instant involuntary but not bad channeling happen. So it was involuntary, which means that it was just fluently coming through me. The information was fluently coming through me, and my spirit guides, my spirit team, the Galactic Council of Light were using my vessel as a portal to deliver messages from the collective consciousness, or certain dimensions, certain planes. And some of the information that came through that last video was not from me. It was from the higher realms, higher times. So that's why I didn't really get a chance to dive deep into every aspect, but also why I bloody appreciate you all having reached out. So what is soul fragments? Soul fragments are when we are met, when our soul as a whole is met at the gatekeepers, portal, dimension, and we get told our soul contract in our soul contract, there could be so many different paths our soul could go down, right? There is so many different things that our soul is shown and told to do, or is on our script. And sometimes these experiences, these lessons, these situations can literally, it takes time, human concepted time. And so what happens is, let's say you have for example, my soul timeline, my timeline soul fragment splits have gone. I have a soul fragment living in New York City right now, living in a high-rise building, living as a aspiring actress, aspiring singer, hoping to get all that fame and wealth or whatever. I have a soul fragment living in Africa with all the wild African wildlife. I have a soul fragment living in I don't know the name of it, but I know it's somewhere like Switzerland or Iceland. But I know that I have 7. My soul contract came into this life with 7 soul fragment timeline splits. 7. Some people can have hundreds. Some people, this might be their only one. You are less likely to only have one, though. You are more likely to have anywhere between 10 to 20, but some people's purpose in this soul contract can be so big that they can have like 100 soul fragment soul splits. Anyway, so with my soul fragment timeline splits, I wasn't aware that I had 7 until I dived into my Akashic records and I was able to see my past life human experiences. And because everything is simultaneously happening at this present moment, the past, present, and future, I was able to become consciously aware and see these pieces of me living at this time. So in 2023, when I was shown this, it was about 2020 or 2019. So, I was given this information, this conscious connection and this awareness back in 2020. Since then, I have been able to, let's say, go to sleep at nighttime, and this soul in this vessel goes to sleep, and then I'm able to see through the lens and perspective of the human soul fragment experience that is living in New York. And so I'm experiencing everything in that physical body. And then I come back into this body, I wake up in the morning and I feel like I've been traveling. I feel like I've been, either working or really active. I feel like I have been on a mission. I've been busy. But then also I'm given information on things in New York. I've never personally been this physical form, this physical human, this physical body, this vessel has never been to New York. But when I wake up in the morning and I remember what it was like in New York, I know things. And then I sit here and go, what the heck? Like, what's that information? Where did that come from? And I will Google it. And it will be legitimate places in New York or people in New York or cafes, it's so bizarre. Obviously when this stuff started happening, I was like, that's weird. But the more that I became connected to the concept of soul fragments and soul splits and soul contracts and timelines, quantum leaping, you know, all these very, what I consider as high spiritual concepts, the more that I came to realize the possibility of it, right? So now, talking about the energy shift of the Great Awakening at this moment in time, 2023, this year has been one of the biggest 5D consciousness shifts throughout the whole human evolution. And this is one of the most powerful and particular moments within the Great Awakening that started in 2012. It was slowly happening up until 2020, and then that's when it just went full speed. So since 2020 to now, 2023, the speed has been picking up. We have been quantum leaping, quantum shifting. Everything has been going quite fast. And I'm sure that you could agree that you feel like time is just literally, where's our days going? That's because at this point in time, and I'm also, I can almost guarantee that you've probably heard, now is the time, you know, from a lot of spiritual leaders, a lot of psychics, a lot of mediums, a lot of channels. Now is the time. A lot of people are saying that because this is really crucial right now because of the timeline jump. The timeline jump is these, so 7 of my soul fragment splits. Some of them, let's say, go to sleep at nighttime. This doesn't only happen at nighttime. I would like to quickly note on that. This will sometimes happen because I'm very connected to the collective consciousness. I'm very connected to my Akashic records. I'm very connected to, you know, realms, dimensions, and planes. This can happen to me if I'm just sitting on the couch watching TV, which can be, you know, in the beginning it was quite frightening. But I would get these flashes of visions in front of my face and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? But if you aren't as connected to the collective consciousness or the multidimensional realms, it will probably more than likely happen when you're sleeping at nighttime, because your brain actually activates DMT from your pineal gland, which releases the activation of your soul's frequency. And DMT is naturally released when we are asleep. So what I have started to notice over the last 3 years is I'm being shown my other soul fragments in human vessels passing away. So exiting this dimension, exiting this realm, exiting this physical plane. However, what I've also noticed from there is that it comes back to me. So I, at nighttime, I might shockwake, right? I might shockwake. And then I feel heaviness on my chest. And sometimes I could get a really heavy, pressurized, thumping headache, or just in the head, you know, it's not a headache or a migraine, but it's just like a lot of pressure. I can sometimes get just aches all over my body, my spine, my joints. For females, the DNA upgrades that are occurring when our soul fragments are coming back can cause a lot of pelvic pain, a lot of abdominal pain, and that is then associated with the rebirth of your soul fragments coming back into the one vessel. So that's soul fragments. And the timeline jumps are, from my understanding and from everything that I have researched and that I have studied over my many years of my very, very deep spiritual awakening and channeling is when a soul fragment comes back in or comes into, you know, one particular physical vessel, we are then given all those lessons or all those experiences or all those teachings, all those years in this one vessel. So everything that that soul fragment may have lived through for 10, 20, 60, 80 years is now come back into this one vessel and has decided to upgrade you and your mind, your consciousness, your physical vessel, and you are going through these waves of then expanding all these, you know, downloads and these connections and all this source and all this upgrades, and you've come to realize, where did I know that? You're having epiphanies. You're having moments of deja vu. You're having moments of just pure realization where you're like, far out, I didn't even know that I knew that, but now I know that, and now it's changed my life. So then your perspective changes, or your energy, your vibration, your frequency changes. And then, you know, you have to go through an adjustment period, a processing period, and then integration period. And so then now, because you've got this whole brand new level education, knowledge of life, you've now jumped a timeline. Your timeline has gone up a level. And you didn't even do anything, you know, you didn't have to spend years of studying and now you've gone here. Or you didn't actually have to personally experience trauma, and you've learned a lesson from what that traumatic experience would have been like in a different parallel lifetime. So those are just a couple of examples, and I really, really hope that I've been able to clear up some stuff. There's a very high chance I probably confused you all a little bit more, or maybe even just gave you all more questions. But 5D consciousness is all about having that conscious awareness that we are a soul having a human experience. We do not create abundance, we create limitations. 5D consciousness is the awareness that your soul travels, your soul experiences different lifetimes, seeing things differently. So being able to sit, let's say you're having a conversation with a bunch of people that are speaking a different language, and you can't understand that language, but you're sitting here going, you know what, I can feel the vibe. Like everyone's laughing, everyone's giggling, or, you know, you can feel the energy. You can feel the energy, right? Obviously, there are levels of, you know, body language or tone of voice, or you know, the way that people, you know, use their arms and interact and engage with other people. Most people can read that sort of stuff, but it's about actually sitting there and having this conscious awareness of the energy of your surroundings and your environment, where you might not actually even understand the language of someone else. It doesn't actually mean that you are going to get to the stage where you're just going to be able to magically learn Mandarin, but it's tapping into that level of energy, because consciousness is just energy. And so the 5D consciousness has levels of expanding your telepathic abilities, expanding your psychic development, feeling more inclined to connect with, you know, people that talk about the same things within spirituality. And, you know, you might notice yourself detaching from other people. 5D consciousness, an example of, is you might not resonate with the idea of you know, working a traditional job, you know, or chasing the idea of money, you know, working a job, creating some kind of money at the end of the week or fortnight, and then paying for a house that you don't even live in for, you know, 50% of the time. You know, you might not resonate with sending your children to school anymore. The thing is that the amount of people that I have asked me, what is going to happen in the 5D consciousness, is absolutely like one of my number one biggest questions I get, and have been getting for many, many years now. The thing is that it's not a physical thing. You know, this is something that we really, really have to remember and become aware of, is that it's not a physical thing. It is a shift in our consciousness. It is a shift in our perspective. It is a shift in our reality, which then ends up being a physical thing. It does. Because I can say for myself, if I have a conscious awareness of the power of positivity and the power of my mind, and I implement strategies and methods and, you know, daily tasks and affirmations, and I become that warrior of spirituality within, and I believe that I can manifest, and I believe that I can do X, Y, Z, then my physical reality completely shifts. It changes. Because I start attracting things that I'm consciously aware of, consciously thinking of. I start living in that dimension, yet still seeing, you know, the 3D and the 4D. I can see it, but I don't entertain it. I don't pay attention to it. I don't let it faze me. I don't partake in it. So it is a level of consciousness, the 5D consciousness. So 5-dimensional consciousness is a level of consciousness. Your consciousness is your soul, your mind in your head communicating to you or presenting you with certain visions, or delivering you with DNA upgrades, or you know, giving you these access points that your soul is actually very aware of anyway. Your soul in your soul contract knew everything that you are doing in life anyway. And so maybe just having a moment after this video to sit with yourself and say, I have full faith and full trust that everything that is happening, my soul signed a contract for. My soul knew what it was going through. My soul knew that there was going to ultimately be a lesson in everything. I trust the universe so much that when I don't get my own way, I know that I'm still getting my own way. Sometimes there's a bigger purpose. Sometimes there's a bigger reason. Sometimes there's a bigger thing at play. And so I would love to wrap it up there with putting out to you guys, if you have any questions, please hit me up. I'm going to put the link to my private Facebook group and my other social sites in the description. If you guys have loved this, I would love it if you could subscribe and like this video, share it with your friends and family. I have been noticing quite a lot of unfortunate shadow ban across my social sites, which just says to me that I'm spreading some sense of truth, and I'm spreading some light and love and positivity and abundance and some good messages. But unfortunately, that does mean that I need to put a little plug in here and ask you guys to share. Share this with your people, your community, your tribes, your like-minded friends and family. And if we can get all this awareness out, then imagine how many more of you will start to tap into the 5D consciousness, because it's all about expanding your consciousness. So thank you all so much for watching, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. Don't forget to subscribe, because I'm going to, fingers crossed, be dropping another episode about astro traveling, lucid dreaming, and so much more to come.